How much food and water do you need for 1 week? Let's chat about it. Hello, everybody, and welcome to SuttonsDaze. If you're new here, my name is Lisa, and we are all about pantry preparedness. And while we're looking at, the chaos that is my pantry, sometimes you get people that are new to it going, wait a minute, how much do I actually need? And that is something that we're going to talk about today. It is more than, oh, I really like having this. It is more this is what you actually physically require in order to survive. And from that, you can take a look at what you need to stock. If you're just getting into this, or even if you're at this stage of it, there's a point where you have to look and say, how much is too much? Do I actually have it? Do I actually have enough? Do I have enough of the right stuff? Should I be stocking up more? What am I low on? There's constantly questions that you're navigating. And depending on whether it's long-term, short-term, or working pantry, that can determine also where you're looking at, how much you need. But in this instance, this is my long-term, short-term, and working pantry. I have it all in one room. Some people may not have that ability. I get it. Absolutely. So depending on the space that you have, like if you're in a, 600 square foot apartment, then legitimately you should be looking at 1, 2, 3 weeks worth of stuff. And I'm going to help you break down how to look at what you're stocking to make sure that you have enough so that it's not just a matter of surviving. It's a matter of thriving. I have my notes today because there's a lot of stuff here. And we're going to start naturally. We're going to start with water because we've been saying it a lot lately and it's come up in conversation quite a bit also. The standard rule for years has been 1 gallon per person per day. Okay, so 1 gallon per person per day. And we're just going to automatically assume that if you have pets, you're doing the same for them. Okay, so 1 gallon of water per person per day. And recently I came to the conclusion that that's not enough. So you need at least 2 gallons per person per day. Now, depending on your space, that 2 gallons per person per day is water to consume, it is water to cook with, and it is water to do minimal cleaning. Minimal cleaning like yourself and your dishes. Minimal, okay? Not let's take a shower and let's do a whole load of dishes. No. So you have to take that into consideration because if you're looking at 1 gallon of water, 64 ounces of that, a half a gallon, is what we should theoretically be drinking every single day. If you are active in any way, shape, or form and you are sweating it out, you're going to drink 1 gallon. So you need to replenish that. And there's really no other way around it. Okay, so half a gallon to 1 gallon for consumption purposes. Then you're looking at a half gallon for cooking purposes, potentially. Depending on what it is you're cooking. Well, I'm going to cook meals in a jar. You can only eat soup so much, I swear to God. So water for cooking, okay? Whether it's for the little bit of pasta that you have to cook, or whether it's adding it to your freeze-dried food, whether it is whatever, okay? Use, a half a gallon is actually a lot for cooking. So now you're up to 1 to 1.5 gallons of water. And then you've got the other gallon to half a gallon to do for cleaning, for either spot cleaning for yourself or spot cleaning your dishes if you are using dishes of some sort. Remember that the actual stored physical water is only one part of your water requirement because you've got the stored physical water, and then you want to have a water filtration system, and then you want to have a water purifying backup system. Redundancy is key here, especially when you're talking about water, because water is absolutely necessary. It is technically more important than food, okay? So I'm going to put some links down below for water purification tablets and for the Grail water filtration system. It's a single system. It's like a tumbler that you drink out of, but it filters the water. It's really, really good. And that's just an added bonus. So those are the 3 things that you need to look at. But if you're going to stock for 3 weeks, what I stock, well, what is that? That's 14, that's a lot of water, okay, for one person. If it's one person, you might have room. But if it's more than one person, maybe not. So you might want to store a week's worth of water and then have the different ways to purify water as your backup for the next 3 weeks. Because That's a lot of water to store, takes up a lot of space, I get it. And because it's not a set it and forget it, it must be rotated through just like everything else. Sometimes having that filtration system is easier than actually storing the physical water. Number 2, we're going to talk about calories. Yeah, I know. Okay, but there are some rules of thumb with calories, and this is what I'm going to toss out there. So I am not a strapping young 20-year-old male who has the metabolism of a god and can burn calories by blinking, okay? And I'm wagering a guess that neither are most of you. So what we're going to look at is the average person needs between 2,000 to 2,500 calories per day to maintain basic functions, okay, depending on age, gender, activity level. Those are huge factors to put into play. And so when you're looking at, well, I need to be eating 2,000 calories a day. If you are, and this is where you have to be true with yourself, if nobody else, okay? How sedentary are you? You are sedentary. You're probably going to not be super physical, in an emergency, because you won't be able to because you're not used to it. But I digress. So if you are sedentary, you are going to require less. A sedentary person burns between 1,200 and 2,400 calories a day, just through basic metabolic processes, okay, such as breathing or circulating your blood and building cells. This is known as your basal metabolic rate, your BMR. I'm not going into all the science and all that fun stuff, but if you are predominantly a sedentary person, okay, then you are only burning 1,200 to 2,400 calories just by existing. And that is very much dependent on your age and your sex and, well, that is your activity level, okay? So you need to think about that and you need to be honest with yourself. That's number 1. So the basic caloric breakdown for men is 2,500 calories a day because the boogers, they have a higher metabolism than we do. It's not fair. If you are sedentary, if you are sedentary though, okay, you want to look at between 1,400 and 1,500 calories a day. So men, the basic caloric breakdown is 2,500 calories a day. But if you're sedentary, it's 1,400 to 1,500 calories a day. Women, it's 2,000 calories a day. But if you're sedentary, it's 1,600 to 1,800 calories per day. It is what it is. Okay, I'm going to put a link down below to the Cleveland Clinic where you can read a page all about, what you're actually burning and that fun stuff, because you don't want to be consuming a whole bunch. That's why I have a problem with those buckets of meals, is because they're so high in carb and sodium. And if you don't have enough water to flush that sodium, and if you are not an active person to begin with, that is way too many calories for a sedentary person. So this is why I don't like having those. I would rather have ingredients and real food, okay? So the weekly requirement then for men at 2,500 calories a day is 17,500 calories per week is what they need to figure. And for women at 2,000 calories a day, it's 14,000 calories per week. And, well, okay, Lise, I'm active. I'm active. And so, 14,000 calories. What if I were to consume like 3,000 on one day and, 2,000? It doesn't matter. As long as you're doing it, you're going to figure out 14,000 calories in a week. Okay. The macronutrient breakdown. What? I know, but we're going to go there. Okay. So you want to look, because you don't just want garbage. I mean, if you're going to store food, you need it to be healthy. You need it to help your body day to day and during an emergency. So crap in, crap out, the deal, right? But macronutrient breakdown, you want to look at a balanced diet per se. If you are keto, if you are carnivore, if you are vegetarian, whatever, I don't care. Okay, this is just basic knowledge. You do you, boo. I got no investment in it, okay? So carbohydrates, they are saying, is 45 to 65% of your daily calories. Now, that can, go in and out. And then protein is 10 to 35% of your daily calories. Fat is 20 to 35% of your daily calories. You have to have fat. Doesn't matter. You have to have it. Do you have to have copious amounts of it? No. So if you're doing keto, you know that that is predominantly protein and fat, okay, sans carbs. So, you know, you just move those numbers around to make it work for you. But for me, my protein would be higher just because I don't do well with carbs because I'm a former diabetic. So, you know, I would have higher protein, lower carbs, and then I would still have the fat in there. But those are the three main things that you want to look at. And you can get all of that from vegetables and meat. Yeah, and maybe a little fruit here and there, you know. You want to look for nutrient-rich foods to store. That's the big thing. Twinkies are not going to see you through a happy ending in the apocalypse, okay? So you want carbohydrates. That's grains, rice, oats, pasta, quinoa. Okay, so look to 1 to 2 pounds per person per week, depending on your dietary requirements. Okay, canned or dried fruits and vegetables, at least 7 servings, 1 per day. Aim for a variety to ensure, you know, vitamin C and fiber. So when you're looking at breaking it down, you're looking at 1 to 2 pounds of carbohydrates for a week, and 7 servings, at least 7 servings of dried fruits and vegetables, or dried canned fruits or vegetables. Okay, so you could do, if you wanted to, you know, if you figure out the calories, and that's where you're going to have to sit down and figure this out, but you could do a little bit of the carb, and then the carbs also come in on the fruits and the vegetables. So that is part of your carbohydrate too. So when they say 1 to 2 pounds per person per week of, you know, the grains and whatnot, you can dial that back because you'll be getting some of the carbohydrate naturally from fruits and vegetables. I would actually increase that serving to 2 servings a day because 1 fruit, 1 vegetable, whatever. Protein, there's so many different ways, you guys. Canned meat, fish, or beans. Okay, 7 cans or 14 ounces of protein sources. So 1 can of tuna is 150 calories, but it's 20 grams of protein. That's a lot of protein in that little can. So you know that little can is very nutritious. It's very good for you. I still wouldn't eat more than a couple per week, okay, because it's, you know, mercury, that kind of stuff. Anyway, peanut butter or nut butter for those without allergies, figure 1 jar per person per week, 1 16-ounce jar. I think that's a lot, but it does include your fats. So you have to look at everything you're getting in there, right? Not only are you getting the fats and the carbohydrates, you're also getting the proteins. So you want to do all that math. There's nothing as tedious as tracking your food. Nothing. Powdered milk or shelf-stable milk, 1 to 2 quarts per person for added protein and calcium. If you're a milk drinker, if you're not, you can make it up in the other foods. Fats and oils for cooking, for whatever. Olive oil, coconut oil. Here's the kicker. 1 to 2 cups per person per week. So figure a cup of oil per person per week. That will fry your egg, that will make your bread, that will, you know, saute your vegetables. Yeah, you don't need very much. It's really not a lot when you break it down like that. The other fats are nuts and seeds, which are also added protein. And for example, an ounce of almonds is 160 calories, right? 6 grams of protein and 14 grams of fat. Almonds are very good for you. I wish pistachios and cashews were equally as good for you, but they're a little more carby. So take a look at the different kinds of nuts that are out there. But remember, nuts are not shelf stable. They are freezer for storage. That's the best way to make sure they don't go bad. Next, we're going to look at emergency calories, because emergency calories are something that you have to factor in. It is potentially one of the most anxious, stress-filled times that you're dealing with, right? So you're going to want some emergency calories, which are comfort foods, high energy snacks. Yes. Okay. So granola bars, trail mix, dried fruits, right? 7 servings. So figure 1 serving per day for a week. That's what you want. So for the example is a granola bar, your typical average granola bar, you can pick up, and they're normally 1 to 200 calories-ish, right? And if you have 1 of those per day for the entire week, that's bonus calories, that's extra energy, carbohydrates, right? It's comforting if you like it, and it's just good for you. So another added thing is like honey or jam, because, well, it goes good with peanut butter. Hello. So a small jar will give you added energy, and honey is good for so many other things. You could add it to your Have honey water, have honey with your tea, whatever the case may be. Look at, I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Okay, so those are emergency calories and something that you do need to factor in when you are figuring out your pantry. So number 5, we've got vitamins and mineral supplements. A 1 a day should be sufficient. It should be sufficient, okay? This is coming from somebody who legitimately eats like 4 little dill pickles every single day just to make sure that my legs don't crap up by the end of the day, okay? Phil takes extra magnesium for the same reason. Charlie horses suck. So in emergency scenarios, it can be hard to guarantee you're getting all the essential vitamins and minerals. So consider having, a daily multivitamin. So when you break all of that down, right? We're going to go, this is a sample 1 week food list for one person. We have 14 gallons of water, okay, for drinking and sanitation. That is not the water that you use to flush the toilet. I'm telling you right now. You have about a pound and a half of grains, rice, pasta, quinoa, or oats. Perfect. You have canned vegetables, 7 servings, 7 cans. I say make it 14 if you want to be very well-rounded, because you're going to do 1 vegetable, 1 fruit, okay? And then canned meat or fish, you need 5 cans because leftovers are a thing even during bad times. Chicken, tuna, sardines, if you're a canner, all the different meats that you've got put up. And those are very, very helpful. So one of those for every single day is also beneficial. And that's 5 days because you're going to get protein in other places, okay? Canned or dried fruit, you want 7 servings. So that can be the cans, like the vegetables, 7 cans of vegetables, 7 cans of fruit. There you go. Or if you don't want the canned fruit, you can have dried fruit like apricots or raisins or cranberries, something like that. Peanut butter is your makeup protein, right? And so 1 jar for a week. That's it. And it's a 16-ounce jar. It's not, a 4-pound jar. Nuts and seeds, 1 pound for a week because those are great to munch on. Almonds, sunflower seeds, gives you protein, gives you the good fat. It's a good thing. Kind of keeps your hands busy for a hot minute, right? Oil, figure a cup of oil for a week because then you're going to use it for your cooking. If you are a consumer or a user of milk, then powdered milk or shelf-stable milk, 1 to 2 quarts. If it's powdered, it's easy enough to make up. Like for Phil, he would drink it. For me, I would use it to cook, okay? So you have to figure out, how much you would actually use. Then you want your high energy snacks, okay? So your comfort snack, so a granola bar, you want 7 servings of that. And then basic spices, salt, pepper, garlic, onion, whatever's basic in your house. Cumin, you gotta have cumin, right? That's what you need for a week right there. We just broke it down. It's so simple. And so special things to consider though, because there's always special considerations, right? If you have dietary restrictions, so gluten intolerance, allergies to beans and legumes, allergies to nuts, right? Make sure to adjust your stockpile accordingly. You can do it. I've just given you a whole list of different things that you can do, right? Replace grains with gluten-free options and avoid foods that could trigger allergic reactions. Also, you want to take into account all of those that are texture sensitive now and make sure that what you are storing, they can actually consume because of their texture sensitivity. The final formula summary, my friends, okay? This is it in a nutshell. Are you ready? We can do this, okay? So, water, 2 gallons per person per day. That's 14 gallons of water for a week. Beyond that, you want a way to filter. You want a way to purify. Next is calories. If you are an active person, 2,000 to 2,500 calories a day. If you are a sedentary person, then you want about 1,500 to 2,000 calories a day. Okay, so take like 1,000 calories off that number, because if you're sitting around, you don't need all those calories. The next one are the macronutrients. Make sure that you're not heavy in carbs and light in the good stuff, right? So balance portions of carbs, proteins, and fats per the breakdown that I gave you. This 1 week supply ensures that you have enough calories, enough macronutrients, and enough water, okay, for basic survival, which while also considering nutrition and ease of preparation. Because who cares about gourmet? Okay, you're looking for ease of preparation. You want something that you can heat and eat. You want something that you can add a little water to and heat and eat. You want something you can eat straight out of the can. You want ease. You really do. But you also want nutrition. That's super important. So you want to be careful on what you're stocking, because living unhealthy is the next best thing to not living. I will have this for you to download. Link is down below if you want to click on that. Remember, it downloads automatically to wherever your device automatically downloads. I have no control over it. After that, it's up to you. If you are interested in seeing more ways to stock your pantry, check out this playlist right here. And until next time, everybody, be safe, stack it to the rafters.